This is Linux programming and stuff, I think is what I labeled it. It's going to be unedited, uploaded video um, where I explore some particular bit of technology. Usually it's going to be, um, it's going to be something related to Linux and programming. Today, the thing I am interested in is um, Nix builds and Nix development environments. And in particular, I want to uh, take a look at. So I got this little toy program. I also am starting to kind of like relearn C. I haven't used it in 25 years. Just starting to think about doing that, but then I kind of get distracted by Nix and development environments. And one of the kind of complex situations that I found with Nix when I really started exploring it is it's kind of a big divide to go from using it to manage your development environment to building everything inside of Nix. Once you start building everything inside of Nix, well, now you have to worry about, well, how do I extract the output for deployment? That works pretty well if you're deploying if you already have some kind of process set up where you're going to deploy it to a Nix server. Um, there are certainly easy enough ways to build a Docker image from Nix, although that's yet another thing you have to learn. Um, and so there's this divide then between when you're um, using it as a if you're just using it to manage the development environment, you can still build the application for um, pretty much. Let me think this through. So if I'm just using it for a build environment, I'm still linking against it. But presumably you can write the the whole the whole source code tree in a way that somebody else can use it on their system. So I'm using a Debian Nix hybrid system right now. So I have the Nix package manager, and I of course am running Debian stable. Now, obviously, if I just wanted to write a C program, I can install all the build essential tools and everything is there for me. On the other hand, if I wanted to, I could, of course, use the uh, Nix tool chain to build it. In the end, what's going to happen if I use the Nix tool chain to build it is it's going to be linked against that Nix target. Nix is really nice for, um, okay, so let me approach this a little different. I think that Nix would be really nice to use for kind of a platform. If you're just doing the dev environment, you can kind of do a platform agnostic source code layout that should build on any modern Linux distro. But because you're doing it using Nix, because I personally will build it using a Nix environment, a Nix shell, I can make sure that any versions, all versions, new versions of packages are readily available, right? Because very very rarely does it take very long for the Nix package system to pick up libraries. Okay, so what I'm thinking right now is what I'd like to do. Let's start out with what I have here. So I have a simple program. It's the start of a little toy that I want to make. It's going to be a wizard, and I was just doing some really basic stuff like trying to relearn how to do basic basic I/O. So all it does here, I'll just run it. So all it does is ask your name and then output it back out, right? So nothing, no big deal. But of course, um, uh, it being C, we actually have to, allocate the buffer, pass the buffer off to this little prompt command that I wrote, et cetera, right? So I had to think through it a little bit literally, because I haven't been in a environment manually managing memories for 25 years. And I am not at all, familiar with the standard libraries anymore. I've completely spaced them at this point. Okay, so I got the little program. And the first thing I did, okay, so this may be kind of a bad habit, but one of the things I've been doing for years now is I end up making these little make files that have a build run clean. Kind of whenever I land in one of my projects, I just have make build run or clean. And so I did that here. Just using it as a kind of a task runner. Initially, I of course just did the necessary stuff to make the source code directly. So actually, let's redo that. So it's just GCC out. Let's do it this way. Right? Is that all it is? And then yeah. Okay. So so that is the Debian installed GCC. So I can obviously build it that way. So let's actually just go back and do. I'm just going to put these all in one makefile for a little bit here. So I can build with GCC by doing I'm just going to depend on bin demo and GCC dash out bin demo source. Okay, so that's Copilot, by the way. I'll probably turn it off here in a second. And I don't need any of that at the moment. It just kind of distract from, right? So that gives me make GCC. And maybe what I want to do is well, what I was just thinking is, and I have to quick remember how to do this, but what I would like to do is be able to do that same thing, but use the Nix toolchain. And let me go up here and then go to. It was already listed out there. Other stuff that I've been playing around with Nix. So. Let me try the foo one. Yep. Okay. So this is a kind of a. This would let you create a dev environment shell. So let's copy that over to back to that folder where I'm at here. So now we have the shell.nix, and the way that you would use that is nix-shell. Is it just nix-shell and then the name of the file? I think it is. So let's take a look at this shell. It is adding. Okay, so when I was creating this one, I was doing it for a Ruby application. And so so I have no Ruby right here, but if I do nix-shell, nix-env, shell nix, that is not right. So it's Oh, is it just nix-shell? No, it is nix. Okay, so it appears it is nix-shell, and now I have Ruby. Okay, so that's the basic idea, except for I want to have the GCC toolchain from Nix. And I have no idea what those particular packages are, but let's just start. If I move shell.nix to, oh, I already have that other one. So let's nix shell. Let's take a look here real quick. So nix shell. So does it expect the file? Nix shell. It'll let you, it basically lets you create a shell. You can literally just run a derivation. I suppose that's all the Nix file is a derivation. Can you cat, just out of curiosity, can I cat shell Nix into Nix? Yeah, nope. Oh, you can. I think I did. Um, it just didn't. It didn't go into like an interactive mode. Command run light command. Okay, in environment run the shell command. So that would just specify the command to run. Pure packages interpreter. So I wonder if I no. Oh. Hmm. Okay, so I think you've seen how long the pause was when I ran this, right? I think that it actually is running that shell just the same as here. It just doesn't go into an interactive mode um, afterwards. I don't like the names Nix Shell Shell Nix, but right. Okay. So first thing, let's rename that, which is going to be I'm going to call it devnix move dev env shell to dev env nix. Okay. Now, when I was doing this one, I was very specifically fetching Ruby from a specific version. Um, so a lot of this is similar. So okay, so I think that this was the big one, right? The packages shell. Um, okay, so this is me not knowing Nix. But so what I want to do is a Nix dev environment with GCC. This almost certainly won't be what I want. They're going to do it all inside of the um, So one of the things that's kind of become clear to me, I don't, um, Nix standard build CC. I remember seeing, here we go. Is asking the question I think that I want, which is, so building a shell nix for each blah blah blah. This lets me use cargo commands. I'm trying blah blah. I've got in a shell. So let's strip this down to like nothing. So shell hook with packages, exporting. So this is just setting up. You could see before when I ran these, when I ran the shell, it changed the prompt. That's this. Set up some path info, which we don't need. We're not using. It's all related to Ruby. So now if I do nix-shell dev environment, okay, I'm in my nix-shell. So it is using the Nix, the Nix GCC. So if I run make GCC right now, I want to take a look and see which GCC the demo is linked to. Okay, so so now it's linked to. So we're strictly using. So I have a question, which is when I'm in the Nix shell, can I remove the I think it's pure. Normally use an nix-shell, blah 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 blah. Pure is used, so blah blah blah. Okay, so that's exactly what it is. So if I enter like so, and then do make GCC, so the idea here is that it cleaned up my environment. Sorry, my keyboard's in not quite the right position. Okay, so there is nothing in the path except for Nix paths, Nix store paths. So it is the pure does what I think it does. Okay. Oops, I went one too far there. So let's do a. Okay. So now let's say that I wanted to. Let's start with a. Oops, I lost some. Let me just reset. So tmux, and then okay. The way I'm thinking about this is I I'm going to move this. I want to move this default nix up and out of here for now, just so it's not in the project. I want to move, I think that the normal is for people to call this shell.nix. Yep, and it picked up that file. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to try and link some library that isn't normally, that would have to be specially added. That would have to be included in that nix-shell definition. So clean. Oops, we'll just. Okay. So I'm just kind of adding. So we're adding, and we don't ever want results. So I just want to add the changes from this directory. Default been deleted. I updated makefile in the shell. That makes sense. So this is part of a little bit bigger Git repository that has a couple different examples in it, but I just want to update this particular language example right now. So okay. There we go. Okay. Now, let's say that a good example again is going to be that Ruby one. So it, so we were in foo in shell.x. So libyaml was, something that I had to specifically add because it wasn't readily available, right? So we're going to want to. So this is in the build native inputs. And I currently have only package config in there. Interesting. I'm not sure what the -c is. Never seen that before. Okay, so let's just make sure that default nix does not exist. So we got to fix our makefile. I want GCC to become the new. So. Right. Okay, so if I build, it's going to do a GCC build. If I say build, it just tries to build bin demo. That's what I want. Yep. Okay. Cannot open output file bin demo. So we need there we go. And now make run doesn't work. So we want to run. Oh, did I still have the name wrong? So run is trying to run bin demo. First it clears, then it result. Oh, see, yep, it's trying to do result. There we go. Okay, so everything works again. And so like right here, I'm running it GCC. It'll all be linked with GCC. But if I were to do that again, it still works. But now I've done it and I built against the Debian system. My intention is not that I want to do both, right? Well, maybe I kind of do, because the intention is that I don't want to worry about what system other people are building my C project with. I want to make sure that I have whatever version of libraries I want available to me, and I can manage that with nix-shell. And so I can kind of replicate like the versions that a Debian person would have if I wanted to go into the shell and be very specific about what library versions I used. Or I can just develop, and this is more realistic. You just develop your version of it using Nix. And if other people have the right, if the system libraries that other people have are sufficient, it will also work for them. And with nix-shell tending to be ahead of everybody else, it kind of means that you can make it at the pace that the base libraries modernize or change, and whoever has a compatible system would be able to build it for them. It's a little bit on the, a lot of people would choose the other way, right? We're going to build on Debian stable, because if it builds on Debian stable, it works for absolutely everybody in the world. And that's really, really good for a project that, where your goal is to make it available to everybody. But let's say that you wanted to just work on the forefront of something, and it's really primarily for your purposes, because you're in an early development stage, and you do just want to use the newest available libraries. Well, then Nix makes a really good system where I can pull those in for myself. I can build it, and if like an Arch user or an Ubuntu user later on has sufficient libraries, it will just work for them as well. Um, in truth, a lot of these libraries are so stable, it's not a problem. It's going to work all the way down to Debian, but two different angles to think at it about it. And it's that latter one that I want right now, which is, I want to be able to write C code at the forefront of the edge of all the library versions. And then, if it's compatible, other people can build it on their systems. Now, the next step probably would be I am going to wrap this one up. And then when I come back, what I'm probably going to do is actually link in libyaml, right? Just to make sure that that works. Oh, I know what I wanted to do before I went. I never did. So I should be right. So we're right here. You can see that we're linked against the Debian system. And if I do make clean, make LDD bin demo, you can make clean. Oh, I have to go into the shell. So if I go, so if I'm in the nix-shell and I do make clean make LDD bin demo, you can see now that we're linked against the Nix system. And again, I do it again, and now we're linked against the Debian. And that's kind of the whole goal. And then I just manage my environment by nix-shell. Oops. Let's commit all these little fixes that I did so that it actually works. So I fix up all the little things. Oops. Okay, and then we'll call this good for this video. I'll come back. And the next thing I'll do is verify, actually build and connect, and maybe even use the libyaml. And then after that, the thing is probably to build up a more realistic, like CMake build environment, right? I think that that's the plan. So I'll see you in the next video.